Thank you, Jerry. And thank you, Norma. As we prepare to receive Patty's message, I will be doing one of my songs. This one is called I Don't Know.
I don't know which way I'm heading. It seems I'm lost again. I thought I knew just a moment ago, but I'm playing so many roles, putting on a grand show. I've gotten so good at procrastinating, and excuses come easy, it seems. When my dreams threaten to stifle me, why am I so afraid? I thought this was exactly what I wanted. You know, I need to take some time. I gotta start praying to fight or change my way. 'Cause avoiding my problems puts my body in pain. Won't you show me a way, oh Lord? Show me a way. Ooh. I just don't know who I am anymore. I just don't know who I am anymore. I just don't know. Here's Patty.
Oh, wow, Deidrey, I don't even know what to say. That was just absolutely beautiful. Oh, wow. It's always amazing when you sit up front, you turn around, and the place has got a lot of people here. So, and I don't like to stand and move around. So, thank you, Deidrey. All right. Whoa. Yeah, that's better. Okay, so I got to get this thing so you don't hear me heavy breathing here. All right. Thank you all for being here in person and online. I just really appreciate you being here coming in this weather and being part of this community where we love and support one another through all of the things of our life. Before I get started with my presentation, I want to take a moment to share with you about a luncheon that Jerry and I went to yesterday. Tomorrow is a celebration, as we've heard, of Martin Luther King Jr. And the local chapter of the NAACP, which Jerry and I both belong to, came together to sing, dance, praise, and sit at tables of fellowship. At this luncheon, there was a guest speaker. He was a young man who will be finishing up his seminar training this spring and then re-entering the military as a chaplain. He gave such a powerful message that I want to share a bit of it with you just for a couple minutes. He talked of the challenges of being in the race of life and spoke of the Olympic torch and how it takes a lot of people to get it to its destination. He used that torch as a metaphor for the light that is carried within each one of us and how we work to not let that light be dimmed or extinguished. And when we feel life pressing in on us, when we are disheartened by the events of the world or by the circumstances of our life, we need only return to our source. However we call that source, whatever we call that source, however your beliefs hold that source. We reconnect with that, and then we get relit. My thoughts are that regardless of the confusion of these times and with the frustrations of the great divide we are in, we must guard our own inner light. Let it illuminate us with wisdom so we can be the torch bearers together with purpose. And when circumstances tax us to our limits, we return to source and get lit up. I treasure the gifts of wisdom that are shared by generations of people who have carried the torch, learning how to hold onto their light during times of exhausting struggles, peacefully working for survival, equality, and good common sense. Many of us are challenged in ways we never have been before, but we hold on to our light and know that there's an inexhaustible source, supply, for us when we need it. So thanks for letting me share that with you. I was so impressed with this man, with the whole day, really. But so I'd ask you right now to just take a breath with me. Let's breathe God together in the light of one another. So the title of my talk today is To Shout or Shout Not? That is the question. So as this title and talk was formulating in my mind, I kept thinking of Moses in the Ten Commandments meets Shakespeare's Hamlet, who grapples with his responsibilities of the codes and moralities that he was taught and trained in, codes that caused madness, murder, and left everyone dead. And I thought, Patty, that's really kind of intense. Maybe we need to lighten that up a little bit. And so those of you who know how my mind works, I went right to the joke. And it starts with Moses, Shakespeare, and Patty walk into a bar. And we came up with some great stuff. So it's now 18 days into 2026. How many of you made New Year's resolutions? Oh, come on.
Never.
Okay, so how many did them last year? Maybe that's why nobody's raising their hands this year. Well, we're going to get to that. Thank you, Linda. We can certainly have resolutions, But a better way might be to examine our intentions. Thank you, Rev Linda. We can certainly have, I just said that. I want to share with you what I say every year at the new year. My hope is not for the new year to be better, but for me to be better in it. It is my intention to work at being better in it. That's really what this talk is about today. What tools do we have available that can make us better in it? I want to start by telling a story. Maybe some of you have heard it, but it's so connected to today's message that I'll ask your indulgence to listen to it again. I was raised in an Irish Catholic home, and Lent was a very big deal. With 5 brothers and sisters, I found that getting up and dressed early in the morning and then walking about a half a mile to go to church to the 7 a.m. Mass was precious time that I could spend alone with my mom. And so I did this every day with her during Lent. Now, we lived in a small town in the Hudson Valley about 60 miles from New York City. And many times, actually most times, during Lent, we had major snowfalls, accumulations measured in feet rather than inches that we have here. And to get to church, it often meant trudging through deep snow. Our house was the second house in from the corner of Montgomery Street and Erie Street. And Erie Street was a steep hill that intersected with Murray Avenue, where we would turn left and get to the church. And I was very short. And on the snowy days, Mom would walk ahead of me so that I could step into her footprints in the snow as we made our way to church. It was a beautiful memory that I hold of my mom and me. Fast forwarding to when I was leaving the Catholic Church, it was a very unsettled time in my life, as I'm sure a lot of you have experienced. I've always found that during times of intense discernment, my guides show up. My dreams guide me, as it did for this decision. I had this dream where Mom and I were heading to church during Lent in deep snow, me walking in her footprints. This time, in the dream, when we got to the hill, up the hill and to the corner of Erie Street and Murray Avenue, I stopped following her. In this dream, I saw her footprints heading left towards church, leaving me alone at the corner. As I looked to my right, before me was a scene of fresh fallen snow with no footprints. I was being called to step into a new and unexplored path. My dream was a nod from Spirit that it was okay to change direction. Before me was the invitation, and when I woke up from that dream, I knew. There's an Emerson quote that I really like. I have it, it's on my wall in my office, and it speaks of this change. Do not go where the path leads. Go instead where there is no path and leave a trail. I've been doing that from the corner of Erie Street and Murray Avenue ever since that dream. The thing about new paths is that there are no road maps and the journey unfolds in stages. No catechisms, no Sunday services or masses, no lists of shouts or shouts nots. As most of you know, I'm an artist, and everything is a blank canvas or a work in progress. The untouched snow at Erie and Murray Avenue was my blank canvas, and one of my greatest challenges has been to figure out exactly what to create on my blank spiritual canvas. It's a journey and a process that is never complete. Do you know that many artists, particularly the old masters, painted over their canvas many times?
Yeah.
Sometimes because of material costs. Yes, but also, and I suspect most of the time, it was because there was a new inspiration that took hold. You and I are masters of our own spiritual creations, and we have a lifetime of painting and repainting to reveal to us what that looks like. Everyone who has tuned in today is working on their spiritual life, or you wouldn't be here. And I am joyfully honored to share thoughts and ideas with you. There was more than 25 years between my Catholic days and finding unity And during that in-between time, I slowly and intentionally worked to create my new spiritual path. I was dedicated to reading, studying, journaling, meditating, praying, and being very observant of my own calling to be in service to others. During my spiritual direction training, I was asked to create a rule of life. After sitting with that assignment and contemplating how to go about it, I realized what they were asking for was what I had started at the corner of Erie Street and Murray Avenue. One day during my daily meditation practice, I was musing about the Ten Commandments because, isn't that what everybody muses about during their meditation practice? And anyway, I realized they just didn't apply in any meaningful way to my life. It was the morning that I decided to write my own commandments. It's not that there's anything wrong with the Ten Commandments. They're great. But I felt called to write something more relevant for my life. When I have noticed anything that keeps me from being fully present to my own spiritual understanding, or when I recognize some work that is needed to evolve my soul, I add another commandment. Right now, I have 13. These commandments became the things I shall do. Many of you have heard me talk about spiritualizing our egos rather than blaming them for our shortcomings. A rule of life is how I spiritualize my ego. 3 parts: contemplative practices, my personal commandments, and living the beliefs of my spiritual credo. Today I want to talk about how to create our own commandments, what we set as our intentions for how we want to live our life. We often hear ourselves say, I sure wish I could have done that better, especially with what I know now. The past teaches us to be better in the present so that we don't waste energy with regrets. Regret energy is better spent creating a better present. There's an Irish proverb. I always have to get the Irish in there somewhere. You never plow a field by turning it over in your mind. We have to do the work. My commandments are not created with any notion of right or wrong. They are not about right or wrong. And oh my God, not about salvation. That's the one thing I love about unity. We are born in original blessings. One of the beautiful things about finding my way to unity was that so many of my beliefs fit quite nicely into its understanding of heaven and hell as states of consciousness rather than destinations. And wasn't that a relief to my little Catholic upbringing? In his book, A New Earth, Eckhart Tolle wrote, "When you spend so much time worrying about getting to heaven, you will create your present hell." So many people are concerned about how they and others are getting to heaven or not. They are creating a present hell. This list of shouts and shout nots are part of a salvation theology that just doesn't hold true for a lot of us. You know, there are different translations of the word heaven. One that really appeals to me is to be lifted up, to be elevated. My rule of life lifts me up. It elevates me to a state of consciousness that reveals what the presence of God looks like as I live in the company of others. Heaven on earth is seeing whatever we call the greater creative power in everyone and everything. Life is changing so dramatically, especially these past few years, and I've had to live closely to my rule of life, particularly my commandments, in order to overcome what appears to be the consciousness of hell with the world living in separation. Creating my own commandments changed my life. They were the link between my contemplative practices and my spiritual beliefs, my credo. They guide me in bringing my responses and behaviors to into a sacred alignment when facing everyday challenges. It all started with examining what I was taught and told were my values, to actually learning my personal values and beliefs, what they are for me. It is a sorting process, really, of what I keep and what not to keep. Knowing and understanding how and where we have learned what we have learned is important in the sorting process. I'm going to tell a story here. You know how I love my stories. When my mom told me about many years after it happened, because I don't remember it. According to the story, my public school kindergarten teacher, Mrs. Hoffman, I do remember her, telephoned my mom after a show and tell day. Mom told me about the conversation and how it started. Don't be mad at her. Never a good thing to have a conversation start off that way. Apparently, my show and tell item was the dress I was wearing that Mom made for me. After receiving my compliments, I said thank you. And then I informed the class that my mommy made this dress for me, and my daddy says that she makes all these pretty dresses for me and my sisters, but she can't sew a blankety-blank button on his blankety-blank pants. Now, Daddy did not say blankety-blank, and neither did I. Like I said, I don't remember that show and tell day, but I do think it might have landed me in a front row seat wearing a plaid uniform in Sister Mary Teresa's first grade class at St. John's Elementary School. It was where they tried to teach me that blankety blank was absolutely not allowed. And I'm just being honest here. Those who know me know that that was the one lesson of all the lessons that I ever got that didn't stick. I was instructed in the only beliefs and values I would ever need, and they were drilled into my brain and reinforced by the tribe around me because the tribe learned and lived the same things. You know, humanity has always had people, institutions, and governments to give us our information, providing us with the lists of shouts and shout nots. We are bombarded with information, drilled into our brains by repetition. Voices, loud voices speaking through every means of media, all at our fingertips, regardless of whether it's reliable, truthful, loving, or mean-spirited. Of course, it's important to validate information, but it's getting more and more difficult to even find the truth. While that is important, to me the bigger question should be this: where do we find our wisdom? That is the question. Where do we find our wisdom? Our brains work like this. I love some of the neuroscience books I read. I can't read, I don't know the technical stuff, but I love the ideas and the concepts I read. Everything we sense, see, hear, create, and experience becomes an experience. Every experience gets logged into our brain. The brain does not have emotions. It just collects data based on everything we have sensed, been taught, and experienced. The brain is always compiling data, comparing it to old data, and then informing our emotions about how we should respond in any given situation. It is where those knee-jerk reactions actually start. Last week, Rev Todd talked about limited beliefs and attitudes that show up. Folks, we weren't born with them. We didn't just dream them up. They were taught to us, and our brains logged it in. We need to connect to our wisdom. For me, that happens through divine connection, meditation, prayer, and contemplative practices, the first part of the rule of life. It is a way to open our minds and be guided in examining the things we think, say, and do, to repattern our brains for processing data differently. That's what it is. It gives us the opportunity to unlearn stuff and to take ownership of our own values and beliefs. Karen Kelly did a presentation for our Radiant Living group a couple years ago. It was based on Brene Brown's book, Daring to Lead. It was an excellent presentation and explored Brown's interpretation and understanding of values and beliefs. Values. I think true values are shaped by our wisdom. As children and even as adults, we have been given information and taught about the values we needed to hold. And through maturity and discernment, we claim what is truthfully valuable for us. Values are something we intellectually hold as important. Beliefs. Beliefs are our convictions about what truth is. They too have been given to us as information. We were and still are being taught the beliefs we need to hold. And again, through maturity and discernment, we can claim what is truthfully believable to us. I believe that values and beliefs are shaped by our own invaluable wisdom, and it takes time to examine our thought patterns and experiences. Intentionally tapping into our wisdom is critical in expanding our consciousness and living our own personally divinely inspired life. Information is obtained from external sources. Wisdom is encountered by connecting to the internal source about the information we are receiving from external sources. It's the source where we get relit. Wisdom is our connection to divine intelligence, divine understanding, and divine consciousness, and it is expressed as divine love. No exceptions. Now, the 5-year-old in me that went on to be taught many things did not understand any of this. It has taken me years to sort out beliefs and discover my own values. And I'm still sorting things out, and I will until I take my last breath. I was raised with criticism and judgment, and then because my brain was patterned, it became someone who looked for what was wrong and then formed a judgment about it, which including judging myself with criticism and opinions of others. Sound familiar? It takes a lot more to unlearn something than to learn it in the first place. My unlearning happened because life got right in my face and put me in personal conflict with the many things I was taught. And if that wasn't enough, it demanded me to honor the struggle of other people who may not even know that they do have a choice to unlearn. That's what we're dealing with in today's world. Recently, during the monks' peace walk from Texas to D.C., a man held up a huge sign with a message that read, "You're going to hell," and included a list of the many transgressions he believes that is going to get you there. One of the monks attempted to talk peace and love to him. It only made that man more angry and more righteous. And he, and most likely generations before him, were taught everything that was on that sign, was taught to taunt the world of sinners, to scream hell, fire, and damnation to anyone with a voice who would dare speak a different message. That man has never found a way to unlearning what has been drilled into him. But that monk, he knew how to separate the man from the man's message. That non-judging monk has inspired me. Every day we hear judgments. I do coming out of my own mouth. Well, those people need to, whatever, before we can befriend them, respect them, assist them, serve them, heck, even listen to them. Our actions and responses are a result of how others have trained us to judge. Is it honestly our own values and our own beliefs when we say others shout or shout not? Our way shower and so many other incredible masters who have walked this earth taught us better. But here we are, living in a mess of judgments and opinions that don't support the truth of the beauty and the value of everything and everyone. Brian Woody writes in his book entitled I Am Loving Awareness that judgments drive our emotions. Judgments we were taught. The proof of that in these times is that we are experiencing extreme judgments with extreme emotions. Writing our own commandments is individual and personal, and we must author our own. Everyone here authors their own. With that said, I'm going to share one of mine with you. I believe that some form of it can be in everyone's personal commandment list. My first commandment is this: meet every person, place, or thing without judgment and in the openness of acceptance, patience, and kindness. Our Wayshower's directive from the Gospel of Matthew is, you shall love God with your whole heart, with your whole soul, and with your whole mind. My first commandment reframes that to be relevant for consciously living in unity principle, acknowledging God is. My first commandment sees God in every person, place, or thing, and calls me to recognize it, honor it, and respect it. And friends, this is the one I fail at more often than any of the other commandments I have. It is not easy, but my intention is to just keep on trying to get my judgments under control and align my thoughts and actions to the higher values and principles of integrity and honesty, because the higher value of integrity, our fifth principle, demands this: that I separate people out from the messages they deliver. When I hear someone speak or act against another person to be in alignment with my own commandment, I can't judge the judger. And that, as you know, is the challenge. Some say there is righteous judgment, and that's okay if that's the language you feel comfortable with. For me, it's better understood as observation with an appropriate response. What helps me is to remember that I am unlearning what was taught to me, and whoever is offending another deserves the same opportunity to unlearn. I will always stand for the downtrodden, the oppressed, and the needy, but I can also lovingly offer a different perspective to the one who judges, like the monk tried to do. And let me be clear, this also includes me listening to and receiving different perspectives when someone calls me out, and I hope you all do, when I'm the one who's judging. The commandments we make for ourselves deserve self-compassion and forgiveness for when we slip up, because we're going to slip up. In a recent meditation, after I had an experience of, I could have done that better, I was given this thought about forgiveness. If I ask for and seek forgiveness, then my penance is for me to be forgiving. That message preaches to my values of honesty and integrity. It became my 13th commandment. I'll probably fail at that a lot too. Our rule of life evolves as we do, and all three parts, contemplative practices, our own personal commandments, and our spiritual credo are the tools to help us evolve. So how do we go about creating a rule of life? I'm going to do a workshop this afternoon for us to kick around a few ideas about how someone might start writing their own commandments. I invite you to join me if you can. For those of you online, and if you can't be here today, then maybe consider writing just one commandment for yourself this week, or this month, or this year. Divine presence and understanding. It's in divine presence and understanding that we are the writers, the authors, the producers, the directors of our own stories. And for any meaningful production, there's a lot of stuff edited and left on the cutting room floor. You can be your own Moses and Shakespeare, creating your personal spiritual story. Check in with wisdom of divine guidance to know what you're being called to act on Write it down, edit it, rewrite it until it feels like a commandment that you need to make your own. We are present as support for each other in the challenges of living life. We can show compassion for each other when we fail, offer forgiveness where healing is needed, and love each other through every crisis of consciousness. I hope that you were able to take something from today's message that gives you permission to examine your every thought, claim what is actually yours to choose, release what is not, and be guided to your own peace and love within your own heart. I recently heard a line in a movie that made me run for paper to write it down. The question was posed, who am I? And the answer was this: your identity will be tied to whatever you give your heart to. Your identity will be tied to whatever you give your heart to. When we give our hearts to learning how to step more purposefully into our own chosen spiritual paths, we are living in a wisdom that defines who we are and how we live. If you can join me today, beautiful. If not, I'm always available for spiritual direction. And yay, I just got my certification for the Grief Companioning Program. I am not taking any more courses for a very long time. But I can assist you in discovering how to give your heart to living the fullness of your human condition. That's powerful stuff to think about and discern for ourselves. We can work and create from our own spiritual canvas a world that works for all. Let your 2026 New Year's intentions start with creating your own commandments that bless your life with wisdom and make you better in the new year. So that, my friends, is what Moses and Shakespeare and I came up with for today. Thanks for letting me share it with you. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. Deidrey's going to prepare us for meditation.
I now let go. There's nothing to fear. 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 I now let go. I now let go. There's nothing to fear. Would you sing that with me? I now let go. I now let go. There's nothing to fear. I now let go. There's nothing to fear. I now let go. There's nothing to fear. I now let go. I now let go. There's nothing to fear.
Is that okay? Now I'm back. All right, so for meditation today, we're going to do something a little different. I'm going to get you started, but we're going to take 2 full minutes to just be in meditation, in silent reflection with ourselves. So let's take a deep breath together, centering our hearts and allowing Spirit to guide our thoughts. Perhaps you can settle a little more comfortably into your chair and close your eyes. Breathe knowing and trusting that divine presence is in every breath. You have within you the 12 powers of divine intention: faith, strength, release and renunciation, life, order, zeal, wisdom, understanding, love, power, imagination, and will. I invite you to search your memory for your personal corner of Erie Street and Murray Avenue, where you see in front of you the undiscovered path. You are there now. As you consider stepping forward, what thoughts and emotions keep you bound to your past, ones that can be left at that corner? What thoughts and emotions keep you from being fully engaged with the 12 powers of divine intention? Do not spend time considering what is wrong. Spend time considering what can be better. Let us sit in quiet reflection for a couple of minutes and allow divine wisdom to be in full communion with your thoughts, beliefs, and values. When you're ready, please join us in the here and now, in the company and blessings of our spiritual family. We are, all of us, powerful expressions of divine presence and divine love. And so it is.
Let us sing together. I accept I'm one with the One. 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 I accept I now
Thank you so much, Patty, for your message. It was beautiful. And it made me think of this song called I Will Change Your Name. And I thought, it is up to us to decide how we choose to live our lives, what our commandments are. And so I thought, instead of saying, I will change your name, I would say, I will change my name.
I will change my name. I shall no longer be called wounded, outcast, lonely, or afraid. I will change my name. My new name shall be confidence, joyfulness, overcoming one, faithfulness, friend of one who seeks God's face. I will change my name. I shall no longer be called unworthy, rejected, broken, or ashamed. I will change my name, and my new name shall be peacefulness, loveliness, overflowing one, holiness, child of love, one who's in life's grace. Confidence, joyfulness, overcoming one.